We had never heard about Auschwitz.
You never heard the name Auschwitz?
No. We knew from time to time people were being taken away and they never came back. But it was always said they were taken to work somewhere. And I didn't even have a suspicion when I saw clothing, second-hand clothing, piles of them. But it never occurred to me to think, where did these
clothes
come from? I just accepted they were, but where from? So these were the clothes because people never returned.
I've heard so many stories of there were signs like this, but your imagination could never have suspected something so evil.
No,
yeah,
you couldn't.
You were sent on trains to Auschwitz.
On good trains, not normal trains.
Yeah. Like animals.
Like animals. You sat like that, and they had no drinking water, and there was only a bucket for the other purpose. So you can imagine, men, women, all together, how embarrassing it was to have to use the bucket. And when they opened the doors, sometimes there were screams for water, so maybe sometimes they gave us a bit of water. I can't really recall anymore. All I know that we were given quite a bit of bread when we left. So much so that when we arrived at Auschwitz, the people who were there screamed, "Give us your bread," because they must have seen that people have bread, because they'll take it away from you anyway, but we didn't know where we landed, what it was.
Yeah. So on arriving at Auschwitz with your two aunts, you had no idea.
The only thing was the wagon door was opened and there were big shouts, "Raus, raus, out, out." And there were people who looked to me as though they were wearing pajamas, and striped, because that was the garb that.
Yeah.
So it looked like striped pajamas, and they had to separate straight away. People were separated, the males from females. So whether it's a boy from the mother or a girl from a father or husband and wife, and all they did was as each person came, did no talk.
They just take a look at you.
You faced them, and they indicated.
Based on you think how fit you looked, how strong you looked?
Whatever.
Yeah.
We didn't know why.
Yeah.
What. And my stepmother was sent to that way, and myself and my other aunt that way. And then we saw buildings, and people were screaming, as I mentioned, "Give us your bread. They'll take it away from you. Give us your bread." And we walked and walked and walked for a little while, and then we had to stop somewhere in the open next to a building, and eventually we went into that building. We were called in, and in that building sat a couple of men in German uniforms and a couple of women, and the building was now full of women, and the order was undress. And before you undress, give us all the jewels you have. And there was a sheet next to them on the ground. All your jewelry and anything of value into there, and undress fully. Here I am, just turned 20, innocent, like in those days people were still undressed in front of these men, But, and on the other side, they said, oh yes, and just because your clothes has to be fumigated or something. And on the other side of the room, we saw piles and piles of clothing.
Yeah.
So, we had to undress and just step out of it. And leave if we had whatever, a ring or watch or whatever. And then our hair was shaved fully, and all other body hair was removed. And then we had to move on, and there were showers. At that time we didn't know that there were some other things that looked like showers, and there was something else we didn't know, but these were showers. But under each shower there were about 5 or 6 or 7 of us standing, just water coming on us, cleaning us, but no towels to wipe yourself. So, then again move up, and there were the German women distributing clothing. No underwear, no shoes. And I received a long evening skirt, a long black evening skirt, and a men's pyjama top, a big one. My aunt was similarly dressed. And when I looked at her, and this was my elegant aunt, who used to go to the hairdresser, who had manicured fingernails, who was always in fashion. I couldn't come to terms that this was her, and we didn't talk. Whether she was worried about her sister, whether she knew something else, or whether what is there to tell, what is there to talk?
There's no words.
There's no words.